What's up guys, it's me, the Athletic Brony, FritzRolle732, and in case y'all weren't expecting this, let me explain to you guys why I decided to post this video at this very moment. Now, I am aware of the fact that as I'm recording this and by the time this whole entire video gets posted, it will be well past the 10-year anniversary to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And even though I've already told my story of how MLP has changed my life a couple times too many, whether it was in my 100 sub special, which by the way, be sure to check it out, or in the form of a small clip that was a part of a huge Brony documentary made by a guy named Michael, which by the way, be sure to subscribe and check out the video I was featured in. Regardless of everything, I felt that it would be most appropriate for my story to be its own project in my channel. So with that, I'll stop the rambling, I'll not spoil anything. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, click on the bell all as well, and enjoy the show. So, as a kid, I was struggling. I was severely mentally challenged. I was diagnosed in the autistic spectrum. I didn't know how to speak certain amount of words when I was 3, 4, or 5. And I didn't know how to, correctly behave to people or respond to people when they were giving me judgments or doing things that didn't go my way. Like, for example, when I was like a child in lower school, like whenever somebody was like taking away a ball, or whenever I tried to ask them like, hey, can I play as well? And they say like no and stuff. Instead of like using my words, they let actions get the better of me, and I end up screaming and yelling and fighting, and like I was just angry. I was just violent. And seriously, if we were to put into health or medical terms, I think you would safely say that I was pretty much a little bit psychotic. But yeah, I really don't want to go there. Anyways, like lower school and myself as a kid was just very, very messed up and stuff. And because I was doing all these violent things, I got myself into a toxic relationship. And there were some moments where every day that I look back right now, I just can't live with myself because of all those things that I did. I was seriously messed up, and I thought I would never be able to improve for the better. At least that was until 6th grade, when my parents told me that, hey, if you get into 2 more fights, you're gonna get kicked out of school. And the last thing I would ever want is to get kicked out of the school that I love, because it was just great and a great environment and great for me to learn. And plus, I always had the idea where once I attend there, I can never go anywhere else. So unless if I do get kicked out. So yeah, and so that's when I took the initiative and I behaved, I improved for the better, and I didn't let actions get the better of me, and I was in control of myself. And whenever somebody did get in my way, instead of letting actions get the better of me, I read them bitches, RuPaul style. Because reading is what? Fundamental and educational, because you can actually learn a thing or two about them bitches. But anyways, so I was doing great, but then when 2013 came around, that's when I saw my first episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. It was Wonderbolt Academy, and oh my gosh, it was the most relatable episode ever, because it was talking about a character who was spending a week at a school where if she does well in that school, it will lead her one step closer to her ultimate dream. And the reason why that episode was so relatable, because as a kid, I used to go to a baseball school, and by the end of the week, if I did very well, I was received the MVP award, and I won that award 4 times. But now they don't do that anymore, and it's a shame, because the last time I was there, I just got a new bat. But anyways, so I really loved the show, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to see more episodes. And sure enough, I saw more episodes on TV, and at first I was embarrassed to do this, but now it's all good. And then a couple months later, I saw episodes on YouTube, and when I heard about Bronies, it was a couple months after I was binge watching YouTube videos, and I saw this term Brony. I'm like, what's a Brony? Is that like MLP version of a broski? Because if so, I'm not like that. I'm just a fan of the show. Like, I'm just a fan of the show. And that's how I came out to be as a Brony, I guess you would call it, for 1 to 2 years. Like, I was that type of Brony. I was hot diggity demon level. Like, I was the type where I did watch every single episode, but I'm just not into like the content and stuff. I just like the show for the show. And so I was just in that period, and I did check out like a couple things during the way. Like I did see Sonic Rainboom and also TRY's My Little Pony Friendship Was Magic. And during 2014, that was when my father passed away, and so it was kind of the depressing time, but at the same time though, ponies was still a part of my life, and that's when I started to become a part of social media, like really get into Instagram and stuff, and I started checking out more pony stuff online. I started checking out pony artwork by Brony artists on Instagram, and oh my god, the artwork is just absolutely amazing. And then as Rainbow Rocks was coming around the time, I guess that was pretty much the time when I was like an official Brony and I was really getting into the content. And then afterwards, I started getting into even more content, more animations and the music, and then Brony's React came into play. And funny enough, the first time I heard about Brony's React, it was actually in their BronyCon panel from 2014, and it was a video that was posted by a guy named Sir Sonic HD, and it was just so much fun watching that panel. And then I started checking out these guys' work, and I'm like, oh my god, these guys are hilarious and very creative and just so much fun to watch, and I really want to do some of these things in the future later on in my life. And sure enough, that's where we were. And overall, afterwards and after checking out the content after 2015 BronyCon, that's when I took the initiative and be like, I want to go to a Brony convention someday. And then in 2016 and further down the road, the rest is history. I went to my first BronyCon. It was more than I ever anticipated and more than I ever imagined. I got to do some things that I never thought I would be able to do. Heck with seeing Michelle, Black Griffin, and Basic perform live, because before then, I was already like a fanboy of these guys, most especially Michelle. Like, I was a huge fan of Michelle because when I saw her doing all these things, like not only being the voice of Apple Bloom, but performing for these conventions and stuff like that, like it is just amazing. Like, this girl, 6 months younger than me, is doing this. Like, oh my god, it's so cool. And I started seeing them live, and it was just amazing. It was the first time ever seeing them live, and the first time ever that I got to hear the Getting Stronger song, so that was awesome. And then meeting them afterwards was just a huge blast as well, because when I saw that they were putting out souvenirs, I was like, well, instantly, I'm gonna get a hat, because as a kid growing up, I became a huge hat collector, and as of right now, I collect nearly 100 hats, whether they are wearable for daily activities or for golf or just to hang out in, or whether they are limited edition signature type of hats or a little bit of both. I get them all, and I try to buy them and wear them and enjoy having them. Like, oh my gosh. And so by the time the line was getting closer and closer, I saw the hats going out and out, and they were about to be sold out. But then by the time I came in, the only hat that was there was the one that Michelle Creeper was wearing backwards as she was doing her thing. And when I stepped forward, I was like, I would like to have a hat, please. And sure enough, Michelle Creeper took it off and gave it to me and gave the signatures. Thanks for stealing my hat. And oh my god, it was just so amazing and stuff. And then afterwards, meeting them, that's when I started becoming a huge fanboy of Black Griffin, because he's got to earn his way to the top in order to get my fanboy approval, as well as Basic, of course. But and on the final day, I got to meet the voice actor of my childhood, Tara Strong. Like, I got her to sign my red United States polo hat in honor for the Olympics, so that way Twilight approves Team USA. And BronyCon was just amazing, and then the rest was history. I got to become friends with people in the fandom like Rosie Val, Nora Mermaid, Drummer Shy, Red Card, AK, Achievement Hunter, Aleximus Prime, and James O'Howens, and just so many other people. And we're still friends to this day, and it is just great getting the chance to chat with them, whether it is on social media, on a Discord chat, or even in real life. Like, it is just awesome. And not only are my friends and several members of the Brony fandom are awesome, but also the people that work on the show are even awesome, because if it wasn't for them and the Bronies and to God himself, I would have never been able to go to the places that I would have never thought I would dream to go to. Like, I went to BronyCon 4 times, and I went to the one and only HasCon. And also, I would have never been able to gain the gifts and the abilities that I never thought I would be able to gain, because before, I wasn't that creative and I didn't understand creativity. I only thought creativity was just a hobby or just something used for fun, but instead you can actually I do it as a passion, like voice acting and singing and music and creating content. Like, it is just amazing. And I would have never received any of these awesome souvenirs. And I mean, I would have never received artwork, whether it is by my OC or artwork of people that I look up to. And I would have never been able to get the chance to work with some amazing people online, such as Obek Scribbler, The Lost Narrator, Drummer Shy, Michelle Krieber. Like, it is so much fun doing it. And I would have never been able to write my own stories, because before I didn't have the ability to write. Like, writing was just a struggle at school. Like, I needed really big help from my tutor when it came to a writing assignment. But ever since I started watching the show, I was able to come up with creative ideas for a plan to write my own story for this certain type of topic. And then when it came time to my college application essay, was about how MLP has changed my life, because one of the topic choices was, what was something that influenced your life for the better? And of course, MLP. And the raw rough draft version of it was 2,650 words long. And let me tell y'all, that may not be much, but this is coming from a guy who didn't know how to write a single sentence about his life before. He could just be like, oh yeah, I like sports, I like cartoons, I used to be that type of writer. I would be like, I like to do this, I like to do that, like I like to make a list. That is not writing a story. That is just making a list. But seriously, the show helped me gain that ability, and oh my gosh. And last but not least, it would have never helped me achieve my dreams, because before I was always a huge fan of cartoons, and I remember as a kid, I always had the dream of becoming the voice of SpongeBob. Well, let me tell you, if time travel were to be a thing, I would travel back in time and tell my past self, well, you know, kid, I mean, being the voice of SpongeBob, I mean, that's gonna be a stretch, but let me tell you, you have a bigger chance to be the voice of Patrick than SpongeBob. But on the bright side, you still got the chance to do a voice acting, because in the end, I got to achieve my dream as becoming a voice actor, because back in 2018, I recorded an episode to an animated series that was based off of a book series made by one of my mom's best friends. And I got to be the voice of one of the characters in an episode called The New Babysitter. I was the old babysitter, and it was just amazing, you guys. It was a fun experience. Seriously, if it wasn't for the show of MLP and for these bronies and to God himself, I would have never achieved the dreams that I never would have achieved of. And that is how MLP has changed my life for the better. It has helped me become creative. It has helped me to go to places that I never would have imagined would be so much fun to go to. I would have never been able to hang out with the people and meet the people that I call my friends, my mentors, my role models in life. Anything that you can imagine in a good way. These are the types of people that I love so much deep in my heart. And I would have never been able to gain the gifts that I never thought I would be able to gain. And I thank you guys for it. And thank you, MLP, for it. I love you so much. And friendship is magic.